One of the classic old questions in the world of advertising and business is whether marketing is persuasion or manipulation. This is a super interesting question. It's something that I've seen discussed fairly often, and maybe you're someone who really cares about the ethics of your business. So I want to give you my take on this because I've been in this space for a while and I have a really good perspective on this, because it's back in 2018 when I started spending money on Facebook ads so that I could scale my businesses. And since then, for the last 6-7 years, I've learned a lot about advertising, copywriting, marketing, psychology, and business in general. I've also done e-commerce, selling all sorts of different products. I've also done affiliate marketing for many different brands, consulting, and many other things, and scaled my businesses to 6 figures a month. So I have a decent enough background to give you a good answer on whether marketing is persuasion or manipulation. So the interesting part is that, in a way, as I show in this image, there are two sides of the same thing, two sides of the same coin. Because just so that we are very clear on what marketing is, to put it very simply, I would describe it as the process you take your customer or potential customer through so that you can generate a desired outcome. And what's going to determine whether your marketing is persuasion or manipulation is, first of all, how you do this process, and second of all, what is the intent behind the outcome that you're looking for. So when you are manipulating somebody, the how you are doing it involves using psychological tactics that can exploit either their vulnerabilities or their desires so that you then can influence their behavior and their decisions. It is mainly focused on the other person, on the potential customer. And all these psychological tactics, they become really powerful when you possess specific information about the individual you're targeting. So through your research, maybe you've learned personal details about their struggles. You also clearly understand the demographic group that they find themselves in, or the audience group. And on top of that, you also understand their psychology as a human being. So now you use these psychological tactics plus all the information that you've gathered through your research, their emotions, the demographic, the audience, their psychology, how they think, their lives, personal details, everything about your prospect. And now you put both of these together to emotionally control them and get them to do whatever it is that you want, as if they were a puppet. At the same time, the thing that you might be promoting, which is basically the intent, which, as we said before, is the outcome that you're trying to generate through the process of your marketing. What you're giving them, maybe it is not truly positive for them, especially for their long-term well-being. Or maybe the thing you're selling, it just doesn't work at all. And the intent you have with this is not at their best interest. You just basically don't care about the results that they have. You just care about receiving the money. I cannot give many details because I don't want to get in trouble, but let's just say that I know a few platforms online that specialize in selling supplements and remedies for people with medical health issues, and the owners of those brands, they sell hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars worth of product every single day, being fully aware that the remedies that they're selling, they do not work and they will not cure whatever thing it is that they're claiming that it can cure. And they're also using the sketchiest sales tactics that you could ever imagine. It's pretty crazy. So the intent that they have behind it towards the customer is negative. They just don't care. They're just selling empty promises. They just care about collecting the money at the expense of deceiving the prospect. I also know guys in the business space who sell millions of dollars worth of courses, and they know fully well that the courses that they're selling, they're outdated. It doesn't work. All the techniques, all the tactics, all the information that they're giving you, it doesn't work. Yet they do not care. And they do these launches and they make millions of dollars from it. And I've seen the behind the scenes and they're just like outright lying. Even though it is amazing marketing, I've seen how they sell their products, their funnels, their VSLs, all of that stuff. It is amazing. It is very compelling. It is very intricate. All the psychological tactics that they're using and how it draws you in. And they take you through this roller coaster of emotions that by the end of it, you just feel like, oh yes, I want to buy this thing. This thing is going to change my life. But in reality, it's all BS, right? So these are the examples of manipulation, right? Is this toxic how and toxic intent that I was talking about. Now, persuasion, on the other hand, is when you argue or explain things. You present ideas from your own point of view as the marketer without unnecessarily triggering emotional and impulsive negative responses without taking psychological advantage of them. And you're doing it in a way that's more ethical and aimed at improving the other person's situation, the prospect, the potential customer, or your existing customer. Because you have something for them that you know, genuinely know that this will help them, that this will be good for them. Now, I know what you might be thinking because I'm making this distinction between the how, which is the process, and the intent behind the outcome, right? If we have a positive how and a positive intent, then I'm saying it's persuasion. If it's negative and negative, then I'm saying it's manipulation. But maybe you're thinking, what if I use these sketchy psychological tactics, which work really, really well? Because that's the thing. If you're into marketing and advertising, copywriting, you probably know what I'm talking about here. These things, even though they might be toxic, like they work amazingly well. They print a lot of money. And maybe you're wondering, like, why can I not just use these tactics, but at the same time give them something that is positive? And if you're thinking that, I think this is the key in a way, and I think you're sort of right. And that's why I'm saying that this is two sides of the same thing, and it's likely that you should use both. So the way I see it is that the correct way and the purpose of manipulation is to get people's attention. And then once you have that attention, you sell them with persuasion, because getting attention nowadays can be challenging with so much noise. So I think it is ethical for you to use some of these sketchy manipulation tactics if what you're going to do afterwards is sell something that's actually good for them, like there's a good intent behind it. But then as soon as you get them and now they're listening to you, then switch to being persuasive and sell things to people that are good for them, things that they actually need, and not just focus on taking them on this roller coaster that's going to deceive them into thinking that they need things that they truly don't. Because then what might happen with this roller coaster of emotions and you just start selling anything to anyone is that you might have massive refund rates. I knew a guy in sales who was super good at selling anything to anyone, but he was once selling some sketchy product and his refund rate was, I'm not kidding, it was 40%. And this was a high ticket thing because he would get on these calls, he would talk with the prospect, and he really knew how to play with their emotions. He was really good at bringing up those vulnerabilities, those desires, and then just, as I was saying before, playing with them as if they were puppets. So a lot of people would end up buying the thing that he was selling. But then what would happen is that a few days later, people would just snap out of that and they would just be like, hey, wait, what the hell? Why did I buy that? I actually don't need it. And they would just call up and get a refund. And actually, if you get really high refund rates, depending on how you're actually collecting the money, if you're using a payment processor, you might actually get your account shut down because you might start to be considered like a high risk business. And in fact, in the past, I've had businesses that have had such low refund rates that I've been able to negotiate special deals with the payment processor. This is a topic that I want to cover in a future video that I think is very interesting, so subscribe if you want to see it. So basically, the way I see it, at the end of the day, it boils down to just treating your customers, your prospects, as human beings, which is something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays, they don't do. They just see them as cattle or as sheep. So treat your customers properly, have their best interest at heart, and be valuable towards them, which are the things that I often talk about in my channel, because this is how you actually build a healthy long-term business that will not get you in trouble, not with your customers, not with the FTC, okay? Because the FTC, I don't know if you know about it, but every single day they're getting more and more serious about the sales tactics that a lot of people are using nowadays, the claims some of these businesses are making. So be careful with that. And if you treat your customers right, they will be happy, they will return to you, they will spend more money with you, they will also recommend your product or service to other people that they know, and it will just be a long-lasting, healthy, respectable business, which I think is the amazing thing that you should be after, because it actually takes the same amount of effort to build a bad business or a good business. So why wouldn't you just choose to build a good, healthy business? I don't know why there's this idea or perception that building a business like the one I'm describing, first of all, there's the perception that no, it doesn't make as much money, and second of all, there's the perception that maybe it's gonna take way more effort. But the reason maybe why it takes more effort is because there's not that many people nowadays talking about this, so you exactly don't know how to do it, which is very funny. Like, people keep learning how to sell things, but they don't even know how to build something that's valuable. I think that's something that's very interesting nowadays in the online business world. So if you're interested in this and you want to learn more about this and go in depth, check the link in the description to visit my website, because I talk more in depth about this topic. So go do that. But for now, that's it. I hope this was helpful, and hopefully I will see you very soon. Take care. Peace.